over here they finished putting the capping on the fascia capping on the roof, so now it has a finished look, because you can see over here there's some of the stainless steel still showing, and then you have the gray. That's the gray is the permanent capping. Here you can see a little bit more of the final finish of the entryway, and all of the gym glass is in now, so you can see how they have that special coating on it. Well, it's not a coating, it's like a fabric inlaid in the glass, so that helps block the sun a little bit on the inside without needing shades in there. And we can also see from here they started doing some of the finish work on the parking lot, so some of the sidewalks are in. They're getting ready for these sidewalks here, and we'll go over to this retaining wall. If you look down the way, you can see what more of the finished product's going to look like. There will be a grass separating the parking area and the sidewalk, and then this will actually, there's no sidewalk that continues around this way, but we're going to have some additional sidewalk in the islands down the parking lot. You can see the wildlife has made their home here. There's some baby ducks over there. Actually, those might be full-size ducks. So these basins are still in the temporary format, but like when the project is done, basins are going to be cleaned out, the fencing is going to be removed from the inside, and they're going to be planted with natural vegetative species for this area. So they'll always have, you'll never see the water in it, but they will act as an infiltration basin, so on heavy rains there will be some water in there and it'll slowly soak back into the ground. Similar to what it does now, but it'll look prettier. And then up here, we're almost done with the outside of the building. As you mentioned, the LM sign is up now. Most of our lighting is up. They have a lot of the exterior speakers in. So I think that what we're missing right now is the wireless access points for the outside, and just a handful of, there's a few speakers that still need to be put in, but for the most part we're pretty close on the exterior. And they started putting in the exterior doors as well this week, which is really great because that helps us be completely dried in, especially with all the heavy rains that we've been getting lately. So once we have all the exterior doors on, that's our last step to being able to consider it dried in enough to start up the HVAC system. So we're actually having a meeting next week to start coordinating how that process is going to happen, how all the equipment's going to get turned on, how the hydronic system is going to be filled, and the sequence of exercising the valves and doing the initial testing on the equipment. So at this point, the gym is pretty close to being finished. We have the final coats of paint up there, including like the different color contrast for the beams up at the top, and we have the basketball backstops, the scoreboard. The glass has been put in for the entryways, and most of the glass is in on this side for the auxiliary gym and the weight room. We also have, up here is a baseball cage, and that gets lowered down so you can have a batting practice in the gym. And the only thing the two big things we're missing at this point is the wall mats and the bleachers. And both of those will come after the floor is done later this fall. So this area, the auxiliary gym, gives you a really good idea of the above ceiling progress that we made. At this point, they're almost ready to start putting ceiling tile in, but before we do that, they have to have above ceiling inspections, and the things that they look for when we have the above ceiling inspected is making sure all the temporary lighting is out. So you'll see there's some yellow, what they call Romax wire up there. That's for the temporary, it has to go. Make sure that all of the diffusers are in for the HVAC system, which is those linear slots you see, and all of the lighting is in, which is the long linear strip lighting that we have recessed into the ceiling in this space. And then all of the devicing, so that's like your sprinkler heads, your fire alarm, occupancy sensors, daylight sensors, and at some point they'll put the wireless access points up there too, but it doesn't necessarily have to be in before the above ceiling inspection. So this is one of the science classrooms. Let's see, ground floor is physics. So in here we don't have fume hoods, but we do have eye wash stations. When we go upstairs to the 3rd floor, you'll see the fume hoods and the safety showers and all those things that you need for handling chemicals in class. And down here, there is some goggle cabinets, and the casework is beautiful. It's all solid wood with glass and the solid epoxy resin. So aside from lights, this is pretty much a finished chemistry classroom. And depending on what classroom you're in on this floor depends on how many fume hoods they have. But they all have fume hoods, and this is so, then they all have gas coming to them so you can do experiments up here. I don't know if anybody will be able to tell exactly what's happening in here, but this is the top of the elevator shaft. This is right before we order, well, Borough orders the elevator. So they go through a submittal process, they get it approved, and then Schindler, the elevator manufacturer, comes out, does an initial approval of the shaft sizes and what's in here, which we passed that. And then the next thing they want to see is that there's lights and power, and we also have a sprinkler and smoke heat detector up here. So we'll take pictures of all this, send it over to Schindler, then they'll authorize the elevator for install, and then it takes like 10 to 15 weeks for them to come out and they'll install it. Space you're probably going to notice one of the biggest changes in. This is, as we're on the 2nd floor, walking into the 2nd floor of the media center, looking into area A, which would be your main entrance. So you'll have a clear line of sight from over here, which is a common space, all the way to the area A main entry. And if we come over this way, you can kind of get the layout of the media center. That's the nurses area on that side, and this is conference room and offices for the administrative staff. And this is coming together really well. I'll show you the corner office for conference room. So this is one of their new conference rooms. So they're going to have a visual display board over on that side. They have the natural light. And in here, we're pretty far along, not as far along with the above ceiling as the rest of the building, but catching up quickly. So you'll see not all the ductwork is finished yet, but it's close. There is an awful lot of work for the electricians in here. They're getting close to being done. They're responsible for running all the conduit for any of the lighting and data part of the theater, but in communications. But then the Pittsburgh stage, that is the installer of the theater system itself, they'll do the pipe grid, theater lighting, controls, all the AV equipment for the theater. They keep those separated because the theater is it's such a specialty, so it's better to have one installer be responsible for that does theaters.
first day on this 2-year project. This is my last day of shooting on the documentary. I am signing off.